Hi everybody, I am Mayor Mar, and what I watched today is Reboot, Season 3, Episode 3, Firewall. Oh, this episode is beautiful. It starts off with a quick game that feels really familiar to me. It's like Santa skiing down a hill, and then our sprites are two snowmen trying to kill him. And it really reminds me of that game from like the older computers where you ski downhill and a Yeti tries to stop you. And yeah, it's just really fun. It's a good sequence, but what the best part comes after it, the opening titles. We get a straight-up James Bond-style credit sequence, complete with a custom song, and it is awesome! I've always loved James Bond, so seeing this sequence made me smile, and kind of put me in the mood to watch some James Bond movies later. You can tell a lot of love and hard work went into this opening. From the superb animation to the lyrics and the sheer attention to detail, since every bit of this sequence is so lovingly produced. And if it wasn't so long, I'd happily put it in here to share with you. But they went to every length to make this a proper James Bond style opening. As the titles end, we rejoin our heroes mocking Santa as they exit the game, and they're confronted by Megabyte. Their usual recovery team is nowhere to be seen. And Megabyte is really intimidating in this scene. He puts Enzo down and he delivers a message that while our heroes hide in the principal office, he will make it his duty to bring suffering to the people of Mainframe. Enzo is pretty dejected because Megabyte, said, "You're not a guardian, you're a delivery boy. You're a little sprite." And just sort of beat him down like that. And the situation is pretty big. But Andrea's adorable as she tries to cheer him up.
I now understand what propaganda is. You can't give up. You must fight.
Enzo, however, isn't so easily cheered, especially when he looks at just how powerful Megabyte's forces are. Mouse, however, in her usual brilliant way, mocks Enzo, bringing up Bob, which galvanizes Enzo. After all, Bob wouldn't sit around feeling sorry for himself. No, Bob would get up and fight. Mouse and Fawn come up with the idea of an inverse firewall to contain Megabyte. And yeah, that is a great idea. And it apparently is all because Enzo said that it's Megabyte that should be trapped, not them. I don't know why the firewall has to be inverse to keep Megabyte in the one sector, but whatever. It sounds cool, and it's a great plan. We check in on Megabyte for a moment with his new favorite toy, aside from Enzo, Hex. Naturally, he's torturing her and plans to use her, his dear, dear sister, as a weapon. And then it's back to our heroes as they enter their very own cube branch, complete with a cube binome named Hugh. As he explains the process by which they will trap Megabyte. At this time, the game descends, and of course Andrea and Enzo go right into battle. As we're shown the game world, I noticed a very interesting detail on the kid's desk. That's the cupboard from the Indian in the cupboard. I'm sure of it. And later in the game sequence, we actually do see the Indian emerge from it and sort of look on at what's happening. So, nice touch, guys. It's a racing game, and it's one of those ones where your tiny living toys and whatnot racing around what feels like giant normal settings. This episode has the one thing that bugs me about these games, and trying to understand this world's rules. Once again, Enzo and Andrea are starting the game on the last level with the user, not that far away, which admittedly makes it more convenient for the show's running time, but throws some questions into the mix about the way the games load in their systems. Can a game start in one system, then be loaded in another for the next level? It's really hard to say. The sequence ends with Cyril and a bunch of protesters confronting Enzo. Admittedly, the amount of time they're wasting does make me wonder if perhaps this time the user is on the first level, and our protagonists are just sort of waiting for them on the last level. And that gives our protagonists enough time to have these character-building talks. I don't feel like that invalidates my earlier query, though, since in the Evil Dead game, the user appeared moments after the game starts on the last level. So, really, it comes down to we don't know how these games work, and we don't know how they work inside the world. We return naturally to the Hue branch, where Dot and Mouse are preparing their part of the plan against Megabyte, before returning us right to the game, where we get our first look at the user. Holy carp, it's Dune Buggy Barbie, and she's out for blood. Our heroes finally reboot. Andrea gets a motorbike and a great line from Enzo.
What is it with you and motorbikes?
Enzo gets a dapper suit and a great sports car. Meanwhile, that scumbag Cyrus reboots, giving us a Wacky Races reference. I recognize the characters, but for the life of me, I can't remember their names. Naturally, Enzo gets an awesome car to get with his Bond look. Like I said, it's a cool sports car. And the race is a rather piecemeal chase and around the room. Andrea steals the show, though, as she ramps off the back of a Model T-Rex with her bike. Have I mentioned how much I love Andrea? She's awesome! We return to the principal office, where they find out the tech behind their grand plan is untested. Oh, shit. But if their calculations are correct, it should work. Which leaves our characters really hoping that it will work, since if it doesn't, the principal office will be left completely unprotected. Oops. Enzo and Frisket prove their mettle once more, saving Cyril from the T-Rex bones. That became kind of aggressive, because, you know, they were just used as a ramp. Who would have thought, huh? As Megabyte prepares to launch his final assault, Enzo takes on the user, who's now in the Barbie Dream Jet, and is about to win the game by escaping the room. Fortunately, Enzo is able to get on the wing and jam her flaps using a Bob doll. Good old Bob, still saving the day, even in doll form. And the user's plane careens out of control. Enzo gets tossed in the air and nearly plummets to his doom, saved, oddly enough, by Cyril. Now piloting a gyrocopter and giving yet another witty line for this episode.
Not picking you up would make a change from me putting you down.
Apparently the Binome is being swayed by Enzo's willingness to help him despite all he's done. Which is good. It shows that even though he has a Megabyte icon, he's still got some free will. Traitor. I mean, good going. Capping off this episode, the firewall goes up according to plan. And at least for a moment, the mainframe is safe and Megabyte is contained. This is a very victorious moment. Right at when we thought Enzo was hitting his lowest, they bounced back and snatched a victory. So, yeah, great episode, really exciting, had a ton of fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.